The child we chose is a 5-year-old that lives at a Hispanic family culture. He has a mother, a father, his brother and sister, older brother and youngest sister live at home with him. His father works out of town, so he's not really at home to place much emphasis on helping them with homeworks or going to school meetings. His mother is a housewife, and they are Catholic. They celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. They celebrate Halloween, and they celebrate parties. And parties, birthday parties, is a big thing with them. On Sundays, they basically spend their time like
at their grandparents' house.
having interaction with family members and
It's a
grandparents.
family day at the grandparents' house.
So Sunday is an important date for them. Um,
Their community, they do live in a middle class community.
a middle class community that is very close. Pretty much where they live at, they know most of their neighbors. They've been living there for years, so they know their kids and the neighbors' kids. So it's not a community where the mother has to be taking care of them when they go play outside or have to be worrying about them not being safe. It's a pretty safe community.
They take
or
care of
neighborhood.
each other. They help each other out.
Yeah, when it comes to education, the father places a big emphasis on education. He's very into education. When he's at home, he helps them with homework. He's wanting to know how they're doing and trying to help them with everything he can. The mother, unfortunately, is always at home, but she doesn't place much emphasis on education. They do have access to computers, to internet, to public libraries, to parks. At home, they have a computer, and all three children have iPads, so they do have access to technology used to learn.
But they use it in other ways other than education. They're always playing games, watching videos, going into websites that have nothing to do with education, and that could be hurting his education.
Plus the fact that the mother doesn't pay attention to most of the education part of their lives. I mean, she does send them to school. She does make sure they have everything they need for school. But when it comes to homework, at times, well, the day I was there at their home, it was already 9, and she wasn't really worried about
If they did their homework or if they had any homework in that day. So we don't know if the kid does his homework or he doesn't turn in homework, or what is it that happens with schoolwork at home.
When we asked the father about it, he said that sometimes they argue about education or in reference to education because he gets home and it's late and the kids haven't worked on their homework, or the mother doesn't even know if they have homework. Like, she doesn't really look into that.
And being that she has the time to have these priorities for them, for the child's good, she doesn't make the time to do these things, and we believe that it could impact the child's education.
And when it comes to lessons,
Technology, we could incorporate technology into our lessons and showing the students how technology can be used educational wise. We can show them websites, educational games that they can play on their iPads.
we consider that being an important lesson because we know that at school they have access to technology, but many of the programs that schools have are only there for schools, like only schools buy those programs. So we were thinking having a lesson where we can expose them to different websites and show them how to get in there, being that most schools have iPads, showing them what other, for instance, apps and other programs they can use to connect to the lessons we do in class. For example, like the water cycle, like the planets. I mean, there's a lot of websites that have songs that have, different little activities that they
can make it fun for the student, and they would want to learn more and use the technology such as the iPad to incorporate it into the lesson.
So more than just having a lesson at school, we know that they take it out to their regular lives, to their home, and that they can actually be showing to their brothers and sisters and exposing themselves to that.
Like this child, since his mom doesn't put emphasis on education, maybe he could impact his sister's life by showing the the websites that we're showing him at school, show him to the sister on their iPad.
Yeah, at the same time that he's using them, she'll see that and she'll make that connection too. And when she gets to go to school, she knows that she has access to that. Another lesson that
Would-
we thought was good.
We could incorporate books that have to do with their culture, such as maybe a book about grandma making tamales for Christmas, or
visiting relatives Sundays,
or birthday parties at the
piñatas.
piñatas, and there's a lot of books that we can use that could be culturally relevant to the child.
And that can help us make a connection, or from there go into other lessons.
And have the child get that sense of belonging in the lesson as well, and in the classroom.
Yeah, that it's not a weird culture, or it's not weird for us that he speaks Spanish or English, or because their language at home is mostly Spanish. They know both languages, like they can swap from one language to another one when they're having a conversation, but in family reunions or family time, they usually speak Spanish.
Mhm. And maybe we can have a book where some of the words are in Spanish, that way he can get a better sense of belonging.